A very good morning to all. At the outset, I have no financial interest in pertaining to this study. We have a lot of topography-based indices, biomechanical-based indices, and OCT-based indices to differentiate between normal and suspect keratoconus eyes. However, if we see this two set of patients, the first set of patients has all indices within normal limits, and the second set of patients has suspicious topography. We did a PRK surgery for this patient, and to our surprise, we saw that after 7 years, the patient with all the normal indices developed ectasia, whereas the patient with suspicious indices was still normal. Also, we come across these cases where a topography is absolutely normal, but however, within 1 year, the patient develops and goes into an aggressive keratoconic case, and there is aggressive progression. So we need to see what are we missing. It's like a 6 blind men and an elephant, that we are looking at just one indices at a time, but we need to combine all of them. So we need a particular indices which can help us in diagnosing this collagen fibrils, which are basically provides the biomechanical prerequisites necessary to sustain the shape and provide strength to the cornea. But how do we study this? Is there a way to study the collagen fibril orientation and distribution in our eye at this point of time? There are a few technologies like scanning laser polarimetry, which is used in GDX for glaucoma, which can help us in studying this. But the challenge here is that it has imaging artifacts in the eye. So it is very important for us to choose the right principle. The second principle which is available is the polarization sensitive OCT. What happens here is that the polarized light is thrown on the cornea. All the structures of the cornea take up this polarized light and it shows the bifringence. But only the stroma doesn't take this bifringence into consideration, and it shows us in a retardation phase. So we take the advantage of this bifringence property to study how the collagen orientation is in our stroma. Also, the polarized PSOCT has a conical beam which goes towards the entire cornea and it covers the, whereas the conventional OCTs are perpendicular and it covers a small part of the cornea, which will not help us studying the entire collagen properties. So using this, we collaborated with the University of Vienna to build our own custom-based polarization sensitive OCT, which will help us in studying the bifringence properties of the collagen. This is a slide which shows how theoretically your collagen should be oriented in the eye and how tightly and all it should be adhered. And these are what the images we get from our polarization sensitive OCT. Just to simplify, the more the blue you see, that is more denser and more tightly the collagens are attached. And the lighter the blue is, or it is towards the yellow or the red side, it means the collagen properties are on the weaker side. So we take this advantage into studying our normal suspicious keratoconic eyes and the keratoconic eyes. And also we study the LASIK, SMILE, and PRK outcomes of this when the patients undergo surgeries using custom-based polarization sensitive OCT with a strict exclusion and inclusion criteria. What we found was very interesting, that yes, the normal eyes had definitely got a normal orientation of collagen and arrangement, whereas FFKC and keratoconus showed partial and complete loss of orientation of arrangement and collagen. How do we apply this optics into clinic? Let's take similar two examples. Both topographies are normal, but one has suspicious indices and one has normal indices. So theoretically, this should have a weaker collagen. But when we did PSOCT, we found that the patients with suspicious indices had a normal collagen orientation and arrangement, but the patients with normal indices had complete loss of orientation and collagen. So this tells us that if we go ahead and do a surgery, then the first patient will have a favorable outcomes in spite of having suspicious indices, but the second set of patients will have unfavorable outcomes. Also, we see in our clinic that these are a set of patients with different indices. When we did a polarization sensitive OCT, we found that these 3 patients had weaker collagen to begin with when their indices were normal. So it helps us in customizing the treatment in our clinic. For this patient, either we'll do a PRK extra procedure, which is the accelerated cross-linking procedure, or we'll do a phakic IOL to have optimal outcomes. Also, going further and studying how the collagen orientation is post-surgery, these are the pre-op patients. This is post-LASIK, post-SMILE, post-PRK. You can see that post-LASIK, there is definitely a little bit of loss of collagen orientation and arrangement. But the SMILE and PRK patients, post-operatively also, they maintain the collagen structure and orientation, suggesting that which type of surgery would be, it helps us basically in deciding that which type of surgery would be the best for our patients. The way forward is we are right now working on developing indices like our topographic and biomechanical indices, like how we get values. We're also working on retinal imaging and glaucoma imaging, just like our GDX property. And we are trying to collaborate with the industry to have this PSOCT commercialized in our study. So this is the first polarization sensitive OCT in the country to study the collagen and arrangement. It helps us differentiating the suspicious corneas from healthy corneas, revealing a unique distribution of collagen. The fibrils are most strongly in normal, followed by suspect, followed by keratoponic eyes. And it can become a definite integral part of screening of preoperative workup in our refractive surgery patients and in our keratoponic eyes as well. Thank you.
Dr. Pooja, I have one question for you.
Yes,
how much did it cost you to customize your OCT to make it polarization sensitive?
Ma'am, as this is the first machine and it is a custom built OCT, it cost us several 10 to 15 lakhs. But when we collaborate with industries, that will definitely be at a lower cost. Also, we can plan that this can be incorporated with our conventional OCTs, ASOCTs, which are present. So the cost will be further reduced.
Thank you.
Yes, ma'am.
I agree that it is a useful tool.
It has multiple applications, and with one tool, you can image both anterior and posterior segment.
Right. Thank you.
And why did the LASIK patient show weakening and the PRK patient doesn't?
Ma'am, sir, in LASIK patient, we are creating a cut of around 20 millimeters on the cornea by creating a flap. So basically, probably because of the flap cutting, there is weakening of the collagen in the periphery. Whereas in PRK, we are not cutting anything. We are just burning the surface. So that is why it is causing a subclinical scarring, which we don't see, but it is maintaining the strength of the cornea in that way.
And that weakening, you're meaning cross-linking is going, or the collagen itself is weakening biochemically?
Collagen, sir. Collagen is weakening biochemically.